Hey, and for anybody that's listening, this is the Patient Will See You Now podcast. Um, this is the zero episode or the pilot episode, whatever you want to call it. I just wanted to tell you in this episode a little bit of who I am, what I do, and what this podcast will be about, and what I hope it delivers for anyone that's listening. So, my name is Robert Bednars, and I am a Polish American doctor working in Dundee, Scotland. I was born and raised in New Jersey in a little town called Maywood, and I went to medical school at the age of 22 in a city called Wrocław in Poland. So there, it's a 6-year degree, and after my degree, I decided to move to Dundee, Scotland, in July of this year, 2019, and I am currently a junior doctor, or an FY1 for any of you that knows what that is. So that road seemed pretty long, and it was definitely a lot of fun, and I don't regret any part of it. And um, after medical school and going through everything, my end goal would be to become a surgeon. I'm just not exactly sure what kind of surgeon I want to be yet. Um, I also really enjoy emergency medicine, so getting the best of both worlds would definitely make me really happy. But we'll see. Anything can change, right? So let's get down to business and how this podcast is going to be structured, what it's going to be about, and etc. So each episode, it's going to be about a certain disease or illness or disorder or whatever you want to call it. So each episode will have its own topic. So, for example, episode one, um, whatever I have planned out, I think it's going to be endometriosis, for example. And then episode two will be type 1 diabetes, etc. And in the beginning, it's going to be me talking about the medical aspect of the disease, the more sciencey part of it. Like, how is it, what causes it, how does it affect your body? What do doctors worry about when you have the disease? What are we really afraid of? And how do we manage the disease? And what we're looking for when we ask you to come back for these tests and anything like that. Um, and then just a couple of facts about the disease and how to spot them, the symptoms, the signs, etc. After that part, hopefully it won't be too long. Then it's going to be the interview part with the person with said disease, disorder, illness. And I try to find these people through Facebook groups that let me post podcast stuff like this, or Reddit, or I just find them personally and ask them if they want to be a part of this. And a lot of the times, I'm surprised they actually said yeah. But uh, as always, if you know anyone that wants to be a part of this, just give me an email, which I'll tell you at the end. And why am I doing this? There's a few reasons why I'm doing this. The most important reason why I wanted to do this is for people who are newly diagnosed, or for people who know someone who has just been diagnosed with a certain disease, illness, or disorder, and to know what it's going to be like at home. So I can be explaining all of the medical jargon of what it's going to be like in our point of view, but it's always different for every single person what it's like at home, because everybody has a different life, they have a different perspective, they have different things going on. Some have families, some don't. Some live with relatives, or some moved and it's difficult for them, or their work is difficult for them. And I kind of want to explore what life is like for them living with this disease. And it's also hard for people who have loved ones with certain diseases, because they don't know what to expect, whether it's their wife or their husband, their boyfriend, um, their best friend, whoever it may be, and they don't know how they should react. They don't know how they can help. They don't know what to expect in the future for this person. So that's kind of what I want to bring into the light with this podcast, is to talk to these people so that people can find out what it's like living with these certain diseases. Another reason why I'm doing this is for a medical point of view, for other doctors and any medical personnel, whether you're a nurse, a physician's assistant, or a paramedic, anybody. to understand at a more deeper level of what life is like with the certain diseases at home, and to maybe get answers that medical personnel are too afraid to ask. So I'd be asking, I don't know, maybe like for HIV patients, what their sex life is like now. Have they been going about? Have they been careful with what they're doing? Just anything. So that's kind of what I want for doctors to get out of this, to understand what, to become a little bit more empathetic towards their patients, because sometimes we lose touch of that when we see patients every day, and we kind of just see these diseases every day, and we kind of just become immune to being a little bit more sympathetic towards it at home. We kind of just deal with the problem at the office, at the doctor's office, and once the patient goes home, we kind of think like, oh, it's not our problem anymore. When we try to, it would be nice to know what they deal with at home, what they're going through in their minds, and try to adjust to them. So that's something I would want to improve on myself as well. Another reason is to just raise awareness of diseases that may be unknown to most people. A lot of people, or instead, I should say, a lot of these disorders and diseases are considered as invisible diseases. So people might be living with them every day, day to day, just you don't see it on that person. It's just what's affecting them on the inside. You don't really know what's going on. So you might see somebody on the subway, on the bus, just walking down the street, and you just don't know the struggles that they're going through every single day. To some people, they just don't even know that some of these exist, or how bizarre these diseases can work for certain people. So that's something I really want to touch on as well, and just to raise awareness. And this isn't going to be just, I'm going to interview one person with one type of disease and then that's it. I hope in the future to do a few people with the same diseases as well. So I hope to have a few people with certain, I don't know, let's say a few people with depression, or a few people with multiple sclerosis, or a few people with Crohn's diseases, be it, just to know that it's not always the same for everybody. It's always different for every single person who has it. It depends on their point of view, their perspective, whether they're more positive about it, what they do to be active on it, to not let it defeat them in a sense. So that's kind of the goal. I really hope to get to with this podcast. It's also just a lot of fun for me just to talk to these people, and it's also a good review for me when I do take my bigger exams later on. I have to still remember all these and how it works and the diseases and stuff like that. So it's good for everybody, I believe. At least I hope so. So if you ever want to get in touch with me, if you have any questions, or if you want to talk to me, or if you want to be interviewed, if you want to be a part of this podcast as a guest, please, you can always send me an email to thepatientwillseeyounow@gmail.com. Just send me an email there, whatever you want. I'm in Scotland, but if you want to do an interview, just let me know where you're from so we can set up a date and time, and then I would love to interview you, whether it's a disease I've already covered or something I haven't, or maybe you have a specific case about it. Maybe it's two diseases in one, or something more complex than that. I would love to sit down and learn more of what you're going through at home, and definitely just raise the awareness and let other people know what it could be like. So, with that said, again, my name is Robert. I'm a junior doctor in Scotland, and I can't wait to see where this podcast will go in the future. So I hope to talk to you soon. If not, you could always just leave a review as well for this podcast. Let me know what you think. Is this a good idea? We'll see. I truly hope so. I'm going to try to go as far as I can with this. And depending on how many interviews I'll get in the future, I don't know if this will be just a weekly thing indefinitely, or if I'll just do seasons if I don't really get enough people to interview. Because sometimes it is difficult to just find people to interview. But if some people just start to email me and they say, hey, I want to be interviewed, I'd love to, then maybe this can just be an indefinite thing, and I can just do this weekly from now on. So hope to talk to you soon. Hope you enjoy the podcast and enjoy the future episodes. Thanks. Bye.